Across Germany, reminders of a heavy industrial past still stretch across the land. Enormous open pits, once alive with machines and coal dust, now sit silent. These vast scars once powered factories, cities, and economic growth. But today, something unexpected is happening. Instead of being erased, these wounds are being transformed. Water is slowly filling the empty mines, turning lifeless craters into shimmering artificial lakes. What was once destruction is becoming renewal, offering fresh ecosystems, new landscapes, and peaceful escapes for nearby communities. It's an idea that feels almost unbelievable. Can places shaped by decades of environmental damage truly be restored? Can water undo what mining took away? The answer, as it turns out, is far more complex than simply letting nature flow back in. This transformation demands precise engineering, scientific patience, and decades of environmental supervision. Yet Germany continues forward, determined to reshape its industrial legacy into something cleaner, calmer, and sustainable. Today, we dive deep into Germany's ambitious mission to turn abandoned coal mines into artificial lakes. For centuries, mining stood at the heart of Germany's development. Coal and mineral fuel factories, railways, and expanding cities. Regions such as Lusatia, the Ruhr Valley, and central Germany became economic engines, extracting vast quantities of lignite and hard coal throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries. But progress came at a cost. As environmental awareness grew and renewable energy replaced fossil fuels, coal mining began to fade. What remained were unstable landscapes, polluted soil, and enormous pits carved deep into the earth. Entire regions were left environmentally fragile, with damaged groundwater systems and ecosystems struggling to survive. By the late 20th century, Germany faced a choice: leave these areas abandoned, or attempt something never done on this scale before. The solution that emerged was bold. Instead of hiding the damage, engineers and environmental planners proposed flooding the mines, allowing water to reclaim the land and form entirely new lakes. This vision aligned with Germany's wider energy transition, focusing not just on clean power, but on healing the land itself. The plan aimed to restore biodiversity, reduce long-term pollution risks, and give former mining regions a new economic future. While similar projects exist around the world, Germany's undertaking stands apart. In the United States, old iron mines in Minnesota were converted into recreation areas. Australia flooded former coal pits to create tourist lakes. But nowhere has the idea been attempted at such scale. Across Germany, more than 70 former mining sites are being reshaped into over 50 interconnected lakes. Entire lake districts are emerging, including one of Europe's largest artificial water networks. Together, these projects cover roughly 1,500 square kilometers and carry an estimated cost of nearly $4 billion. The effort is coordinated by LMBV, a state-owned company tasked with environmental recovery. Funding flows from federal programs, European Union support, and private investment, turning reclamation into a nationwide collaboration between government, scientists, and local communities. But filling a coal mine with water is anything but simple. Before a single drop enters a pit, years of investigation take place. Soil samples are tested. Groundwater movement is analyzed. Engineers search for chemical residue and heavy metals left behind by decades of extraction. Many mines contain acidic compounds, sulfur deposits, and toxic materials that could poison newly formed lakes if left untreated. Without careful preparation, flooding could create environmental disasters rather than solutions. Structural safety is another major concern. Mine walls were never designed to hold millions of tons of water. Slopes must be reinforced, foundations stabilized, and nearby infrastructure strengthened to prevent collapses or landslides as water levels rise. Only after a site is declared stable does the filling process begin. Water is sourced from multiple locations. Nearby rivers are sometimes diverted under strict regulation. In Lusatia, water from the Spree River plays a major role. In other regions, groundwater extraction and water from active mines are reused to slowly flood the pits. Water treatment is critical. Filtration systems, chemical neutralization, and continuous monitoring ensure that the new lakes do not become toxic reservoirs. Even after filling is complete, purification efforts often continue for decades. The results, however, have been remarkable. Areas once devoid of life are slowly transforming into thriving ecosystems. Fish return. Birds nest along the shores. Amphibians and insects repopulate wetlands formed around the lakes. Over time, these water bodies have become essential links in regional biodiversity networks, supporting both native wildlife and migratory species. Surrounding land is often reforested or reshaped into wetlands, helping stabilize soil and improve air quality. The lakes also play an important role in climate adaptation. Acting as massive reservoirs, they absorb excess rainfall and reduce flood risks downstream. In certain regions, interconnected lakes now serve as flood control systems. During major floods in the early 2000s, these artificial basins help protect towns and farmland from disaster. Beyond environmental recovery, the lakes have reshaped daily life. What were once restricted mining zones are now places of recreation. Boating, swimming, fishing, and water sports have become common sights. Tourism has surged as visitors arrive to experience landscapes that didn't exist a generation ago. Parks, cycling paths, marinas, and lakeside towns have followed. For many communities, the transformation has provided new jobs, renewed pride, and a sense of possibility after decades of industrial decline. Yet the challenges remain significant. These projects demand enormous financial investment and long-term commitment. Maintaining safe water quality is a constant battle, especially in former lignite regions where acidic runoff can continue for years. Continuous testing and intervention are unavoidable. Water availability adds another layer of difficulty. Droughts are becoming more frequent across Germany. Rivers and groundwater reserves sometimes fall too low to support large-scale flooding, forcing projects to slow down or pause entirely. In regions like Brandenburg and Saxony, balancing water use has become one of the biggest obstacles. If you look closely at these lake districts today, it's hard to believe what they once were. Where excavators roared and dust filled the air, sailboats now drift quietly across open water. Shorelines that were once unstable slopes are lined with trees, cafes, walking paths, and wildlife reserves. For many locals, the change feels almost surreal. Entire generations grew up watching their hometowns shaped by mining. Now, those same communities are redefining themselves around tourism, conservation, and renewable energy. Former coal regions are becoming symbols of reinvention rather than decline. These lakes are also being integrated into Germany's clean energy future. Floating solar panels, geothermal research zones, and nearby wind farms are increasingly appearing around reclaimed sites. In some areas, the same land that once powered a nation with coal is now helping generate renewable electricity. Scientists continue to study these artificial ecosystems closely. Because the lakes are human-made, they offer a rare opportunity to understand how nature adapts when given time and stability. Data collected here is shaping future restoration projects across Europe and beyond. The lessons are clear. Environmental damage does not vanish overnight, and restoration is never perfect. But with commitment, science, and patience, even the most altered landscapes can find new purpose. Germany's flooded mines stand as quiet proof that recovery does not always mean returning to the past. Sometimes it means creating something entirely different. A future where scars become shorelines, where industry gives way to life, and where the deepest holes in the ground become mirrors reflecting a cleaner horizon ahead. And as the water continues to rise, so does the meaning behind these projects. What began as environmental cleanup has slowly evolved into a national experiment in resilience. Each lake represents years of planning, negotiation, and faith that long-term thinking can outperform short-term profit. These landscapes are no longer defined by what was taken from them, but by what they now give back. Clean air, open water, wildlife corridors, and space for communities to breathe again. The transformation has reshaped regional identities, replacing the image of smokestacks with horizons of blue. Children now learn to swim where their grandparents once worked underground. Towns once built around coal schedules now move to the rhythm of tourism seasons, environmental research, and outdoor life. The economic shift hasn't been easy, but it has offered something rare, a second chance. International planners and environmental agencies are watching closely. As countries around the world struggle with abandoned mines and industrial wastelands, Germany's approach is increasingly seen as a blueprint. Not a perfect solution, but a powerful starting point. Because the world is filled with places left behind by progress. Open pits, polluted zones, forgotten infrastructure. The question facing many nations is no longer how to extract more, but how to restore what remains. Germany's lakes do not erase history. They sit on top of it. Beneath the calm surface lies a memory of industry, labor, and sacrifice. Above it, a reminder that transformation is possible when responsibility outlives profit. The water may look still, but the message is moving. That healing land is not an act of charity. It is an investment in the future. And as the sun sets over these artificial horizons, one thing becomes clear. Sometimes the most powerful symbol of change is not what we build up with, but what we choose to refill that eye in the years ahead. These lakes will keep changing. Shorelines will shift, ecosystems will mature, and nature will continue doing what it does best when given time: adapt. What looks newly formed today will one day feel ancient, as reeds spread, forests thicken, and wildlife claims the water as home. Long after the machines are gone, the lakes will remain, quietly rewriting the geography of entire regions. Maps are already being redrawn. Former mining zones are now officially labeled as lake districts, destinations rather than warning signs. For Germany, this transformation carries a deeper lesson. The energy transition isn't only about replacing coal with wind or solar. It's about responsibility for what comes after extraction ends. About acknowledging that progress leaves footprints and that true advancement means cleaning them up. The flooded mine stand is living proof that environmental repair is possible at scale. Not fast, not cheaply, but meaningfully. Each lake represents decades of oversight, science, and public accountability, a reminder that sustainability is measured in generations, not election cycles. Around the world, nations face similar crossroads: aging coal plants, empty quarries, industrial land with no future plan. Germany's experience offers something rare in modern development: a story of closure followed by renewal. What do you think about this massive transformation? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.